So we did the South Beach diet for 30 days. The South Beach diet consists of phase 1, which is for 2 weeks, phase 2, which is for 4 weeks, and phase 3 is supposed to be for the rest of your life.
So starting with phase 1, the main purpose of phase 1 was to eliminate all of the carbohydrates in our diet and all of the added sugar. And so we had no sugar, we had no carbohydrates, including grains and rice and fruit, no fruit at all either. And the main purpose of that was to reduce our cravings for those carbohydrates and to clean out our system and
you're supposed to eat like a high protein diet, which puts you into ketosis so that you're burning the ketones and reducing like the glycogen stores in your body, which forces your body to use like your water weight to flush out the excess nitrogen that's building up, which makes you lose weight. So like during the initial like 2-week period, people lose anywhere from 8 to 13 pounds supposedly, according to the diet, and then on week 2 your weight slows once you reintroduce carbohydrates.
And then for phase 2, we were allowed to slowly bring back carbohydrates. So we can eat apples and we can eat some sorts of fruits. Bananas weren't allowed because they were really high in carbohydrates. And then we can bring back whole grains as well. And then for phase 3, it was for the rest of our lives. So basically, you take what you learned during the whole diet and you apply it to your normal everyday life.
So one of our 3 goals for the South Beach diet was weight loss, and we both had really different experiences on the diet. And for the first 2 weeks, we both stuck to the diet pretty well. I lost actually like a lot of weight the first 2 weeks. Like I was like dropping like a pound a day, and it was like kind of like crazy like how fast the weight was coming off.
And then my weight fluctuated up and down a couple of pounds, but it basically stayed the exact same throughout the entire diet. And so I kind of lost motivation after like 2 weeks when everyone else was like losing so much weight and I was staying exactly the same. So that was not what I had expected or what the goal of the South Beach diet had initially said that it was. The South Beach diet says that in phase 1 you're supposed to lose between 8 and 13 pounds. And did you lose that much?
No, I lost like 5 pounds maybe, but
yeah.
No.
And then we all realized that we just gained it right back quickly.
Yeah.
So it didn't actually work for any of the 4 of
Yeah,
us.
which relates to our other goal, which is fad diet awareness. And we realized that, although the diet may claim that it does something, it might not actually do that. And we, both stuck to the diet, and neither of us experienced the same results that are promised with the diet.
And it's also really interesting that it really works for some people and doesn't at all work for other people. And so you just kind of have to pick your fad diet, I guess, and find one that works for you or not use fad diets is what our main point was.
One of our goals was to create a lifestyle change for the South Beach diet, so that includes like our sugar intake and then moderation. So for like phase 3, we're allowed to eat carbohydrates, but if they have to be whole grain and there's only a certain amount you can eat for each meal. And so like that really changed for me. I actually paid attention to my portion sizes. I started using smaller plates for meals, so I wouldn't eat as much noodles as I cooked.
Yeah, for lifestyle changes for me, I definitely always watched like my sugar intake. I would always on boxes, I would read the nutrition facts, and the first thing I would look at is how much sugar is added, and also like I always try to replace like grains with whole grains, or I always try to choose the healthier choice.
Okay, so for phase 1 of the South Beach diet, there's not a lot of options to have, so we mostly just had eggs, and a lot of times we'd add like cheese to it, and I would always get usually this one, the cheddar jack.
Okay, so for the South Beach diet, we were allowed to have chicken and fish. So for chicken, it was kind of limited because we can only have skinless, boneless chicken breasts. And that's because I think it's like it doesn't have as much fat as like legs and wings. So none of this, this is okay because it's chicken breast. But if there were wings in here or legs, we wouldn't be able to eat that.
For phase 1, I would usually buy like 2 of these for like a week just because we would eat so many eggs. Like pretty much every breakfast is eggs. Sometimes lunch, sometimes dinner, even snacks, because it's like they're really high in protein, which the South Beach tries to get you to go into keto, what is it?
instead of if you didn't want like scrambled eggs, we'd get like a muffin tray, and you'd pour all your vegetables and anything you want into the egg mix, and then you'd pour it into the muffins, and you'd put it in the oven. I'd put it in for like 350 for about maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then what you could do is you put the excess muffins into a bag, and you can put them in the fridge or in the freezer, and so if you're on the go, you can just pop them in the microwave, and then you have breakfast.
Okay, so we're trying to be super secretive because supposedly we're not supposed to videotape at Safeway. But I would usually get this spinach. It's like the organics, baby spinach, and put it in like omelets, or even just make it as like a side for like lunch or dinner with like with seafood. There's also like the spring mix, which is good for like salads. And sometimes I'd also get the like veggie blend, like the romaine for like, which is like really good for lunch. You put like some cheese or like hard-boiled eggs on it. That's another thing with eggs, the hard-boiled eggs. I think that's all for this section.
So here we're at this little like tofu section, which is a really, really good place to be in when you're on the South Beach diet. Tofu is high in protein and low in carbs, and you can get a variety of different things. You can get like your tofu meat, your tofu like, I guess, chorizo, your hot dogs. You can even have like tofu like noodles, so you can still have your pasta. It's a really good substitution.
On South Beach diet phase 1, vegetables are like everything. Like you're supposed to have, I think, like a half cup of vegetables in the morning, which is kind of like weird, but it's definitely good with like eggs. You can have like, you already said, spinach. The snow peas are really good for like stir fry. Kale, also good. Kale, yeah, also good for stir fry. Asparagus, which is really good with the eggs, or you just make it as like a side, like with any kind of like seafood. Well, I don't eat seafood because I don't eat like meat, but also with like chicken or whatever else. Broccoli, I would make like broccoli soup and put mainly broccoli and spinach and sometimes like tofu for the protein. Unfortunately, you can't have potatoes on South Beach, which really sucks.
But you can have sweet potatoes on phase 2.
On phase 2, you guys, yeah, but
no white potatoes.
Which is really unfortunate. I think you could have green beans, right? Yeah, you could also have green beans, and again, like as a side with like any like protein, that's good. Celery with peanut butter, that's a good snack because it's the protein and fats, and then also the low carb of the vegetable, and also like the fiber. It's like really filling and helps keep you full. I'd always buy like tons of carrots, like carrots with hummus. You don't have to have a lot of hummus, but it's really good. The carrots, and they're an easy snack, and also cucumbers, like cucumbers with lemon and pepper and salt. It's like amazing. Like a little salad, I guess.
Peppers. Bell peppers?
Bell peppers.
Bell peppers are really good with eggs. All the time. Omelets, muffins. Yummy.
It's making me hungry.
So I would use tomatoes like a lot because I love tomatoes. I'd put them in eggs or put them in salad. And then another thing I found, like it was one of the recipes, you would cut off the top of it and then you'd carve it out, and then you'd put like a whole bunch of cheese and garlic and the rest of the tomato guts in it, and then you would bake it into the oven at like 400, and it would be like 10 minutes about, and it would come out and it was really, really good, like really juicy, really cheesy and garlicky, and it's just the best.
Okay, so here we have a whole like section of like fruit. We have apple, I know there's like some melons here, and there's like bananas on the other side, but something that we can't eat on the South Beach diet is fruit because it's high in sugar, high in carbs, and that's something that we want to avoid.
On phase 1 of the South Beach diet, we're not allowed to have bread because it's high in carbs, but on the phase 2 and 3, we can have whole wheat bread in moderation. And the reason we can have whole wheat bread is because it's unrefined. Right, so overall, the South Beach diet wasn't really effective for us. We lost a lot of weight in the first phase, but then during the second and third phase, we kind of gained it all back.
So another problem that we found was that it was because we had no carbohydrates for the first 2 weeks, we were were really tired all the time, and it was almost impossible to add an exercise workout routine along with the diet.
Being college students, our budgets were really tight, so it's definitely hard to find like the right things at the right price for us. I mean, I'm sure like if we had more resources, we'd be able to fully commit to the diet. And
Also, we didn't do the diet for as long as you're supposed to do it for, so I think that also altered our results. But yeah, with the reintroduction of carbs, we definitely just gained the weight back, and it just wasn't practical for us to do the diet.
But overall, I'd say we did learn a lot, and I think
Yeah,
that all of our
definitely.
lifestyles have changed a little bit, and we've talked about that a little bit, but just how, like I know I will buy whole grain bread instead of white bread now, and I look at sugar on food
Labels.
labels and things
Yeah.
like that. So it was effective in the sense that we learned a lot.